talking about the Titans here. The Titans.
Swing and a drive, left field. It's gone! It's gone! It is Bedlam at the bank!
The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball!
Podcast right here. You already know. Go fucking subscribe. Go follow.
You are now listening to the 302 Birds Phillies postgame show with Eric, Brendan, Dalt, and Ballpark Tommy. Proudly powered by TickPick. Check out the link in the bio for $10 off your first order today. Let's take it to the show.
Mets fans, you thought you had this one. You thought you had it in the first half. Don't lie. Don't lie. I know you're mad. I know you're mad that the Phillies came back and you guys do what you typically do. Mets will always find a way to Mets. You guys always find a way. You always find a way to lose. And, you know, the Phillies, they rally. They make a comeback. They win this game 6-4. Absolute great win. You know, a little bit shaky. A little bit of some good things came out of this game, and we'll get into that. I have to talk about a certain someone that I really don't want to talk about, but I got to give credit where credit's due. So just, great win. Phillies win 6-4. And you know, a lot of these bench guys, dude, they're coming in here. They're getting called up from AAA. And they're swinging the bat. They're looking at the ball. They're driving up counts. And just overall, just great stuff, that I saw. Friday probably is going to join us in a few minutes. I think Dalt may or may not hop in, depending on how long this show goes. But for right now, we got this bum, Mr. Ryan.
Yo, Mets fans, I got something for you.
Yeah, man. Muck the Fets. So
real. But
going into our first topic, first thing we're going to talk about, Colby Allard, dude. I don't know. I don't know what to really say. Like, going into this game, and I kind of figured it was going to be like this. Colby Allard's been kind of decent his last couple starts. And I'm going to pull it up here just to look, but his last couple starts, his last couple games, let's look at his last 7 games, game logs. So August 25th at Kansas City, he had a 3.50 ERA. He went 5 innings, 8 hits, only 2 runs, and they won that game. Before that, he went at Arizona. He won that game. He went 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, only 1 earned run for 1 home run. So, like, the 2 times that he pitched before this game, he was pretty great. But tonight, he did not have it. He looked terrible. And honestly, like, what annoys me is, you know, he went 3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them being earned, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, no home runs, but his ERA is a 4.29. And, you know, Allard has been, if I'm not mistaken, major before. But I think what irritates me the most is, like, if Taijuan Walker, which, you know, we'll get into it in a second, he was pretty decent today. But if Taijuan Walker actually was able to do his job from the get-go, we wouldn't have this issue where every 5th start, you have to figure out who you're throwing on the mound between Allard, Mercado, Phillips. At one point, it was Turnbull. You know, you might have an opener like Orion, and then you bring out Walker for your long man. It's just getting annoying where, you know, and I know in a couple weeks it's not going to matter because they're going to go to a 4-man rotation. Like, I get that. But it's still annoying that down the stretch, we still have these small problems to nitpick. And, you know, you're rushing these guys up from AAA, and they're not ready. Granted, Allard, I'm almost positive, has pitched pro before, but like, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, he's pitched pro before. Atlanta, Texas, Atlanta last year. So yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. I think he was okay. I think Walker, though, going into that, he kept us in the game. I'm gonna give him, his props. I'll give flowers where flowers are due. 3 innings pitched, 3 hits, no runs, and he was pretty nasty with it. I mean, if he can keep that up, I don't know if you start him, maybe, one of the last games, but I think you keep him in the bullpen right now. I think you keep him in the bullpen. If he can continue to be a bullpen arm that comes in, eats innings, and is shut down, then that's his job right now. And, again, he looked really good today. Excuse me. Then you have 2 of the 3 of the Holy Trinity, as I like to call it. Kerkering, Hoffman, and Strom didn't pitch today, but Kerkering and Hoffman did. Kerkering got the win. He's 5-2 on the season. 1 inning pitch, no hits, no runs, no earned runs. He was pretty lights out. 1K for 2.03 ERA. Hoffman, again, he was pretty dominant. I believe he got the hold. I think that's what H stands for. 1 inning pitched, no hits, no runs, no strikeouts, no walks, 1.76 ERA. And then Esteves, he came in for the save, 26 on the season. 1 inning pitched, 1 hit, no runs, no earned runs, no home runs. Almost had a home run, but we'll talk about that in a few minutes. 2.22 ERA. But again, pitching staff did their job. The people that needed to kept us in the game. So, Ryan, what did you think about Allard? What did you think about the pitching today?
Allard is a literal bum. He does not know how to throw. He literally throws like a girl, does not know how to throw. And then you got freaking, you got those bum pitchers that they're calling up, like Tyler Phillips, who can't even throw. You got, I think they called up Tyler Gilbert. I don't even think he pitched.
I think he warmed up a little bit today.
You got, what's that one guy they just sent down? Max something?
Max Lazar. He was okay yesterday. He wasn't the best.
And then if you honestly want another starting pitcher, honestly, just pull Matt Strom out the bullpen because I don't see them barely using him anymore.
They use him here and there, but the thing with Strom is that he's been so dominant in the bullpen arm, and he's adjusted to being that bullpen arm, being that closer, that it's too late in the season for them to move to starter. But, like I said earlier, I do agree with you that they are rushing these guys up from AAA, and they're setting them back down because, again, Walker he can't do his job. You're paying this guy multi-million dollar money to just sit in the bullpen and come in once, maybe every couple games. And personally, I thought that once Walker was in the game, that was it. It was done. It was over. But we had a special guest joining us. I believe your name is also Ryan. This is the first time we've met. Broad Street Sports. He was on the main pod the other night. What's going on, man?
What up, man? I got the text message. I was just getting done filming my own post-game show for my YouTube. And I seen the text message, and I was like, hell, I'll join right now. I got a couple things. I got a couple things that I got a good win, but I have to rage about. Not rage, but I'm upset about.
So we're talking about, I know you're joining in our conversation. We're talking about how, personally, I think that Allard, he's just not it. I think they're rushing up these guys from AAA. They just don't have it. And I think that, again, if Taijuan Walker did his damn job, we wouldn't have this issue. So what's your take on that?
Now, that's true. What I think is, and now what I've said, again, is there nobody else in AAA or even AA at this point that the Phillies can call up? Because Colby Allard, this guy, it's not the first time that we've had a problem with Colby Allard. Every time this guy takes the mound, it's a problem. I mean, then you have Spencer Turnbull. This guy, he's nowhere to be found. You don't even hear anything about him anymore. He's nowhere to be found. I hear he's down in Clearwater, but when it comes to Colby Allard, the fact that you watch him pitch every time he goes out, it's the same scenario every time. And Rob Thompson and Dombrowski and these guys, is there really nobody else in AAA or AA or even anywhere that you cannot call up and pitch and be better than Colby Allard? Is he seriously your best guy to go out there? And at this point, I would rather have a bullpen game than Colby Allard, because at least with Colby Allard, I thought that he would be an inning eater. He would give up a couple runs, but would go 6. He goes 3, and it was terrible. They weren't even earning the runs. He was walking the runs in. He wasn't even trying. And the fact that I have to sit here and say that Taijuan Walker was actually really good today, and I'm like, dude, why can't you do that when you start? But instead I have to watch Colby Allard absolutely shit the bed constantly, and then we have to look at Taijuan Walker come in after him, and he's the best pitcher we had today. I don't even how does that make any sense? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you, and I mean, I'm going to put it this way: we're not going to have this issue for probably a couple more weeks, where they're going to go to the 4-man rotation. And that'll be that. But again, I agree with you. Why are we struggling finding people that just cannot pitch in the fifth starting hole?
Just go out there and sign a veteran.
It's too late for that. They had their chance to do that at the trade deadline. You had your chance to go out there. You had all these injuries. You had Wheeler going out with back spasms. You had Turnbull going down. You had Walker going down. You had Ranger going down. You had all these guys going down.
And you know what you go out and get? You get Austin Hayes, who's freaking injured.
And he's injured already.
He's another problem. He is mediocre at best. And you know what? He was supposed to be a power bat. He has no power. He doesn't get on base. He strikes out every time he goes up. And I don't even want to change the subject on this. But everybody says when the Phillies lose, they automatically go after Rob. They automatically go after Walker or whoever's pitching or whatever. When are we finally going to go after Dave Dombrowski for the shitty job that he did at the trade deadline?
Thank you.
The entire,
I go after all of this,
not just this year, but since he came here, he's like, oh, we're really going to bolster up at the trade deadline. We're going to make that push. We want to be a World Series champs. I'm going to do whatever I can.
Exactly.
Is Austin Hayes the best that you could have done? Is Tanner Banks the best that you could have done? I mean, this guy is supposed to be one of the best GMs in baseball, a baseball genius, and that's the best that he gives you. And then you look at it, and it's like we have no depth on the bench. Cal Stevenson is the best you got, but Weston Wilson's the best you got. Bohm's going down. Realmuto's going down. These guys, then you have Stubbs. Stubbs is so bad that he didn't even play. He didn't even play the last 3 games when Realmuto was out. That's how bad he is. We had the Cordes Garcia guy up. I've never heard of him either. I'm lost, and it all comes down to Dave Dombrowski absolutely not doing his job. His job is to sign players and make his team better. And you saw that these injuries were going downhill, especially the pitchers. So when you look at it, you got bullpen guys or whatever. We didn't really need a bullpen guy. We got Estevez, which was okay. But when you look at it, you needed a starting pitcher. It didn't have to be a guy that costed a lot of money, because Turnbull didn't cost a lot, and he did what he had to do. You could have went and gotten somebody cheap, and he would have done a lot better than Allard, Walker, Michael Mercado, another bum. But the best you go out and you do is you get Austin Hayes, a guy that was injured twice, and you never know if he's going to come back this year. I'm lost. I'm really lost.
Right, and we got Dalt with us, but I agree with you, dude. I agree with you, and again, it's just annoying because. Let me ask you this: your name's Ryan, right? I know this is the first time. I know this is the first time we've met. Ryan, let me ask you this: do you think that Dave is too chicken or playing too chicken with these prospects? He's just too scared to deal with them.
Yes. Now I've said this on my podcast, on my reactions on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. I've said this. I've said when you're in a World Series or bust. Now, that's my opinion. This is World Series or bust. This year, next year, your best players are in their 30s. The best catcher in baseball is in his 30s, and you're already seeing the downhill with this guy's knees. So then you look at it, and it's like, so the World Series and the time to win is right now. I don't care about prospects that aren't going to play until 2030. I don't care about Andrew Painter, who hasn't touched a baseball in 2 years. I don't care about these guys. I want to win with the team we have now. I don't care about 2030. I care about 2024. And the problem that he doesn't. Well, we got to wait for Justin Crawford. We got to wait for Aiden Miller. We got to wait for Painter. These guys aren't going to play for another 3, 4, 5 years. Our chance to win is right now. What are we waiting for? You can't play chicken. Half these guys that are in minor leagues and are tearing up in minor leagues, they're not going to be that good when it comes to the major leagues, because half these guys just aren't major league ball players. So you got to look, Dave. You have to spend to win. The expression is to get money is to spend money, and to spend money and to spend prospects is to win. And I guess my opinion of Dave Dombrowski has changed. I don't know if he's a winner. I really don't.
I agree with you. Dolt, what do you think, man?
I mean, I don't have much to say to follow that up. You guys know me, El Amateur. I just wanted to come here to talk about Bryce Harper being back, hitting his first home run, but not one, but two since August 9th. So I'll hold out for that topic. I won't get into stuff that I don't know.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, and that leads us into our next topic, the next thing we're going to talk about. He's finally finding his power, and, like the last 7 games, he's hitting above 400, even without hitting a home run. I mean, his last 7 games, 27 at-bats, 4 runs, 11 hits, 2 home runs, 4 RBI, 2 walk, 4 strikeouts, 407 batting average. But, like, he's finding his power at the right time, and I don't know if he was, scared to swing a bat with his elbow. Like, I get it, you got hit, but at the same time, it's like, these guys are out. Like, the offense stunk. So I'm happy that he's finally finding his power in order to get the Phillies on the board and in this game, because if he had not hit that home run, I think the offense would have stunk like they did last night. I really do. Yeah. And, like, I don't know how to put it. It's great that he hits a home run, but at the same time, it's sad that you have to rely on home runs to keep yourself in the game. Like, at times, I just feel like all they do is they play long ball. That's all they want to do, and they want to be the hero. And, like, you look at a lot of their at-bats, right? I can go through every single at-bat this game and tell you this guy could have walked, this guy could have walked, so on and so forth. And you probably could have drove in more runs than 6 had you taken walks. But, like, Nick Castellanos, always going to swing at a slider. Bryson Stott, always going to take the first pitch for a damn ground out. Marsh, I'm so tired of Marsh, dude. He's really irritating me because his strikeout rate is now a 60%
Trade
That's terrible. That is horrible.
Let's not give Trey Turner a pass. He has been atrocious. Today he had a chance. I think it was the 7th.
Everybody gets some.
Where it was 2 outs and he had guys on base after the Stevenson 2 RBI double, which could have added. I mean, it could have added on. There's Schwarber. He struck out a crap ton as well. But Turner, who is a guy that you shouldn't have to think about him as hitting home runs. He's a guy. He's speedy. Get singles. Get doubles. This guy, he's swinging for the fences constantly. And, I mean, I watched him strike out on 3 pitches about 3 different times tonight. It's like, and then the fact we have to rely on Harper. Harper was the guy that is supposed to spark the offense, which is what he did. So I give him that. But, I mean, I'm just like, playing baseball like this is not going to win you a World Series. When we got guys on base, when you had the Castellanos bloop or the Real Muto bloop single and the stop bloop single and they had the Stevenson double, like that's what's going to consistently win you ball games. You relying on Harper to hit you 2 homers is not going to win you ball games come in the NLCS against the Dodgers where they're going to play small ball or against the Diamondbacks or get like you have to like they're clueless. And it may what is Kevin Long doing in there? I thought what are they doing?
Right. I mean, I agree. But Dolt, I'm gonna let you take the floor because you were starstruck for your man in the group chat.
And the fact that it took this long too, besides being starstruck, I think is something to say. Like your star player going as long as August 9th to September 14th without hitting a home run. That's a fucking issue. That's a problem. So I know I'm excited tonight. I'm, a couple Surfsides deep. Oh, Bryce Harper hit 2 home runs. I didn't bet any money on it. I'm just excited as a fan. You also have to look at it on the other side is the glass is half empty, where it's like, why is this acceptable for us as fans, for this player to go this long? And I know that there were a lot of fans that were calling for him to get benched or take Bryce Harper out or this. And a lot of people were saying that's fucking despicable. Bryce Harper is your best player. It's only a matter of time. He doesn't have an attitude issue. It's not an injury thing. So why would you put him on the bench? But I'll say this. I'm glad that it happened now because I was awaiting it and I want it to continue. Like, I hope that this is like the fucking gasoline under the fire, if you guys see what I'm saying, or kind of light the fire under his ass. Like, okay, this kind of kickstarts the Phillies into postseason groove. This is Bryce Harper's team. He needs to take the bull by the horns. He needs to lead the charge. He needs to show these guys what he expects going into the playoffs because they're all going to follow his lead. Marsh, Stott, everybody, Trey Turner, all of them are Bryce Harper's guys. You know what I mean? And they're all going to follow his lead going into the playoffs. This is Bryce's team. So today's a good start, and it doesn't have to be a home run every day. Like Ryan said, you're not going to have Bryce Harper hit 2 home runs every day, even a home run every day. But as long as he's playing good baseball, playing smart baseball, which I thought he did today, then we'll see. But take it one game at a time because it's September 14th. I mean, I guess officially the playoffs start first week of October.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I know he's muted right now. Since we have 2 Ryans, I'm just going to call you by your TikTok name, Mahomes. But Mahomes, what did you think of Harper today?
At Hurts Visuals.
I think Harper was pretty good. I mean, he hit like 2 home runs. So, like, if he can keep that up, he could probably be like Kyle and go crazy. And I think he needs to keep that energy because if he keeps the energy, then we could probably go all the way in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that, there's definitely that pop that's needed in the postseason, but, kind of like
I want to say I did call the second home run. Yeah, you did. But I mean, I agree with what all of you have said. I think that, relying just strictly on the long ball, on the home runs is not going to win you games in the postseason. They got to lock up this short ball stuff. And it seems like a lot of these bench guys, a lot of these AAA guys, I mean, again, that's what they're doing in AAA. So when you call them up, they're just doing the same thing here. And I think that's what's going to win you games. But Friday, I know you've been kind of quiet. I know you just came from the ballpark because you were working. What do you think?
First of all, I just want to say to all the Mets fans out there, I am marked from at least for tonight from hearing "Let LGM, Let's Go Mets." One thing I'll say, I'm marked safe from that. Before I get into Harper, I just also want to mention whoever the clown is that had the fanatic in a Mets costume. You just you totally jinxed your team. Number 3, the group there was a big group not far from my section, a big group of Mets fans that had something T-shirt that says that I don't hear the bell or something now. You jinx yourself with that. Come back postseason time, do it again, and come back tomorrow and they'll lose again. But all that being said, and and then the honey mustard spill too that I mentioned about in the chat. Came back from 4-0 after that. I mean, it was just an insane night, and I don't want to mention about. I'm not going to talk about the girl that threw up too. So I'm not even going to mention all that. But it was just a wild night. It was a good atmosphere overall. But getting to Harper, I mean, you're talking about a man that makes $330 million. I mean, I know, given the fact when we signed Bryce Harper about 5 years ago, I was very excited about it. Even though at the time, I'll say this, signing the man was a good move, but at the time, in signing him to that big contract, there just wasn't, our pitching wasn't that great, and that's what put us in a position years ago before we started making that playoff run in 2022. But it's good that Bryce Harper is back. It couldn't have happened in a better game, in a better situation. Especially amid all the craziness today. It's we were down 4-0, and I heard, what's the name? A bunch of I don't even know what actually happened. There was just so much going on at once between the people, and then me spilling that mess. It was just so much going on at once that I know Bryce Harper had a big game. Oh man, wow, that was it felt today's win, the way it happened. It felt like I woke up from a good dream with all the craziness today, and then but yeah, Bryce Harper, big game. We have 89 wins, and I was told by my buddy, one of the older guys who's a legend, Joe Messina. I was told by him that in the midst of all this craziness, our magic number somehow down to 7. What?
Yeah.
The division's down to 7.
Wow,
I know the division's down to 7.
So we're down. Division's down to 7. So
I think division is 7, and then I think to clinch playoffs is like 8, 9, something like that. It's like a really small gap.
But listen, I think here's my thing. We win tomorrow. Well, if Harper goes off like this the second day in a row tomorrow, and other guys step up, I'll tell you one thing. If we win tomorrow, this division, everybody else, I mean, it already is over. But tomorrow will definitely put the icing on the cake to say adios to everybody else in the division, and adios to either the Mets or the Braves, which I think the Mets are going to get the last wildcard spot. Just because they're more healthy than the Braves. I'm just saying it because it's close, but I think the Mets are going to sneak in there, and I could see the Mets making the playoffs and beating out the Braves. And I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to make a wild prediction here that the Phillies, well, I don't know mathematically, depends. The Phillies will face the Mets in the postseason, and Bryce Harper will hit a grand slam in the postseason against them. Watch it happen.
Maybe.
I'll be here for it.
Yeah, maybe. But
hey, that's a good prediction.
Yeah. Next thing I want to talk about, I want to give some major props to Cal Stevenson, dude. I was surprised when Rojas was not in center field today, but I see why they went with this kid, dude. He was raking at the plate, looked absolutely amazing. Looking at his stat line, 2 for 3, 2 RBI, hit a big double when needed. And excuse me. And 9th inning, Esteves, he was a little bit scary. I'm always scared lately when Esteves comes in, just because I don't know which version of him we're gonna get. It's kind of a flip of a coin. But that home run, if Stevenson did not catch that the way that he caught it, it would have been a tied game. Or not a tied game, but close game. But just that catch was nice. It was nice. It was needed at the right time.
I know Dalt has heard me say that me and Cal Stevenson don't have the best relationship. I mean, it's true. I was never the big guy on Cal Stevenson because he sucked for about a month when he came up and he actually played. He sucked, and recently he's been playing. And today he proved me wrong. Today he made me proud. He made me happy, and he got on base early with a single, and then he came up and after that disastrous at bat by Weston Wilson because he missed two good pitches to hit, and he just had to hit a sac fly and we would have tied the game. But then he struck out with a pitch that was right there. He could have drove the other way. So he came up in a big spot, Cal Stevenson, and I was like, shit, it's over. Our chances, I mean, we're done. He hits that double. And then in the eighth, with Hoffman, that ball was gone. I mean, the game was at that point it was 5-4. It would have been tied, and he saved it. It was a lot better than Rojas because Rojas dropped his. Stevenson might just be the new center fielder because I mean he's able to catch it. He's able to catch it. But then to just touch on what you said about Estevez. Estevez, I don't know if I would rather have Estevez or Hoffman come playoff time. Because Estevez, obviously, he's a closer. And obviously, he's pretty good. And he's gotten better as time's going on as he's been a Philly. But my trust isn't completely there with him. If it's Game 7 of a World Series and it's 3-2 us and we're beating the Yankees in the ninth inning and he has to come in and save it, I would rather go Hoffman. That's just me. My trust isn't there with Estevez yet. I'm gaining a little bit on Estevez. He was a little bit shaky today. He wasn't terrible today, but he was a tad bit shaky. And my trust isn't fully there with Estevez. So if we're in that position where we have to have a shutout guy, it's Hoffman, and it has to be Hoffman.
Right, and here's what I'm gonna say, right? And me and a bunch of people in this Phillies group chat separate to 302 Birds, we call it the Holy Trinity. So, like, you look at the Holy Trinity, it's Orion, then it's Jeff, then it's Strom to close. And their ERA between the three here is it's like a 1.3 ERA, and earned runs is like 2. And that's from the start of August. So it's like, I get that you have to let Estevez close. I get it. And like you said, I mean, he's decent when he wants to be, but there's times where he's just super shaky. And you got to know when to use him properly. That's all I'm going to say.
You can't use him in the high leverage situations. That's why we put him in today. Obviously, Hoffman went before him, so there was there's no decision on putting Hoffman in or Estevez, so you couldn't really have that decision. But I mean, a 2-run game is where I would say Estevez is okay. But if it's a 1-run game and you need that 1, 2, 3, it's Hoffman.
Right.
It has to be. And I wouldn't even be too upset with putting. I'm gonna get so much hate for this, I would believe, but I wouldn't be too upset with having Strom in that situation. Because Strom, now I'm not the biggest Strom guy, but this year Strom has been really, really good, and he had a stretch where he was shaky, but I mean the majority he has been really, really solid. And I would be if we had a bunch of lefties that we had to face, I would be okay with Strom going in that situation. I would.
Yeah, I agree. Anybody else have anything to say?
That Cal catch was unbelievable. I gotta admit.
Yeah.
That was like
James,
an OBJ type of catch.
Yeah. James, you got something?
I mean, Cal Stevenson, I'll say one thing. I mean, this man, I think Dalton must have woke up this guy because over a month ago, I remember when him and KJ were in California. So it's fitting that we have a Cal guy that could possibly join the postseason roster. Maybe a chance that we have a Cal guy, California Cal is his new nickname now. Might join the roster. I hope in Red October.
You're welcome, man. I got you. I always got your back, Fratty, because you know why, Fratty? We're not settling for one parade this year. We're having two parades.
Yeah.
I wouldn't throw the Sixers too far off of this. I wouldn't.
Really?
That's a hot take, and a lot of people get angry when I say that. But last year we weren't too far off with the Knicks. It was a close game every time, and that was a two-man show with with an unhealthy Embiid and Maxey. This year you add PG. You know Embiid's not going to be healthy at all, which is just typical. And then you add Caleb Martin, and you have Ricky Council off the bench. You could easily beat this Knicks team because we kept it close last year with a two-man show. And the Celtics are going to be the Celtics. We went to a 7-game series with just Harden and Embiid and Maxey. And Paul George is much better than Harden. So I don't think it's too far off than people would say. I really don't.
Right.
And we have a competent coach. Doc Rivers was incompetent. We have a competent coach.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything else about Cal, guys? If we're gonna get to the last topic.
But yeah, Cal was, he was pretty good. But yeah, like I said, California Cal, he is cruising. I mean, we're just cruising down just the freeway right now, and nothing, and we're not gonna stop because Red October. I cannot wait. Honestly, I may not have no voice if we win the World Series. I might not have no voice. I might not have no voice left by November. So
it's all right. I'll pick up for you at that point, pal. It's Eagles season. I'll be in mid-season form at that point. I got you. You just get us to October. You get me to a parade, and I'll handle it on the back end. Cool?
I have something to say about Cal.
Go ahead.
I think that Cal should honestly take Marsh's spot, and Marsh should just get traded because Marsh is pretty trash.
Don't tell Brandon Marsh updates that. Don't tell Brandon Marsh updates that.
Oh, I was about to say.
I mean, that's a hot take, but Marsh has been really, really bad too. So,
yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know if you really trade. I don't know. He's decent when he wants to be off the bench. He could be a good. I mean, like, look at last night. Granted, he did it way too late in the damn game, but like, he's a good bench guy. So I don't know if you really get rid of him because he does have that pop when he needs to. But we kind of already touched on this topic, but we'll get into it, and then we'll close out the show just because I know people got things to do. But magic number, it was 9 at the start of this game. It is now 7. Looking at the Atlanta Braves. Yeah, Atlanta Braves and the Los Angeles Dodgers, they're tied at the top of the third, 1-1. I believe if the Braves lose, I think it goes down to 6. If I'm not mistaken, right? It goes down to 6, right?
It should. It depends on what the Mets and the Braves do because the Braves and the Mets basically have the same record. So basically come down to either one of them. But I mean, the Phillies can't focus on them. They have to focus on themselves.
Right.
And play their baseball. And sooner or later, the magic number in the East will be ours. We'll be waving the flag. So yeah, no, it'll be nice. But they just got to focus on themselves.
Right. And I mean, I agree. I think it's 7 right now for the division, and I believe it's 8 or 9 for the playoffs. So we'll see what happens with that. I believe right now we're tied for the first with the Dodgers. I think it's like neck and neck. But even if we don't get the first and we get the second, I mean, we still get home field advantage. We still get a week off. So we'll see. The only thing that scares me is like, I feel like when we have off days, the very first day we come out of the off day, we just look terrible. So I'm kind of, and I'm going to knock on wood for that. I'm scared what a week might do. Because, like, you know, the Braves last year, they always use that excuse, oh, we had a week off, and oh, we had all this rest, and we looked terrible. I could see the Phillies having that same issue. I really could. But, I mean, we'll see. We're different teams. I don't know. But if one day off makes you look like dog doo-doo yesterday against the Mets, then I'm scared what a week's going to do.
Be careful, Shard, saying that. You know I'm not talking any shit today. That's our impersonation of our favorite New York Mets fan, JJ Seglio.
Don't even get me started with him, dude. He tried to argue with me in the Discord earlier, so don't even get me started.
I'm gonna have to check it out. Then I didn't even see it yet.
But anybody else have anything about the magic number?
Yeah.
Or whatnot?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I have something to say about the magic number. Magic number 7 to clinch the division. Anyway, we're sitting here on September 14th, 2024, talking about the magic number being that low. And the fact that after I thought the Eagles weren't going to beat the Packers in Brazil, that we have a chance to clinch the NL East, possibly, maybe in the Cheesehead State, Milwaukee, possibly, maybe the Mets, maybe beat against the team that were just coming off playing today and then play tomorrow. Might be against the Mets too in New York. It would be absolutely classic if the Phillies clinched the NL East, even if they didn't do it in Milwaukee somehow. They clinched it Thursday on Fox in New York with John Smoltz having to say that.
That would be great. That would be really great.
Yeah.
But
I personally think it's going to be between Tuesday to Thursday. That's my take.
But this year, I don't think we're clinching. It's not going to happen at home because we have so little amount of home games left, and we don't have a home game till next Monday. So quite honest, Dalton, if you want to hear my opinion on this, I'd rather us clinch on the road so I can just celebrate in front of the TV than just have to be there and have to worry about leaving right
I
at
hope
the end.
that they win on the road. I'll tell you why real quick before we wrap up. I'll kick it to Shard to bring us home after this. But the one thing I want to say too, and I'll give Ryan a shout out too. Both Ryans really for jumping on here, but I want to make sure I give Ryan Broad Street Sports a chance for people to give him a follow too. I'll kick it to Shard to take us out of here. But I really want the Phillies to win on Monday because Ash will be there with her family. Shout out to Ash, our GM. If you guys don't know her, she's the chaos coordinator, makes it all happen. And her and her family, who are some proud Chicagonians, are going to be out there representing the Phillies. So I would love to see them win for that. Want to give a quick shout out too for Ryan Broad Street Sports for jumping on here with us. If you guys don't give him a follow already, he's one of the most authentic, passionate fans I've met on social media. And if you can't hear it in his voice, you can definitely see it in his face. So give this man a follow because he cares just as much as these teams about we do. Give Fratty a follow. Give Ryan a follow as well. And Shard, if you want, take us out of here, man.
Play the song!
It's about the Mets, baby. Love the Mets. All right, baby, let's go.
Come on and beat the Mets. Beat the Mets. Step right down and sweep the Mets. Got no pitching, cannot hit. Most times it looks like they don't give a shit because the Mets don't know how to play the game. Watching them will drive you insane. Whether it's east side, west side, ain't nobody coming down to sleep.